Hello my lapidary and pottery friends. Today I've got a super fun project planned. I'm going to be polishing up this beautiful Verde Agate. I just got done cutting this piece and this is definitely a real beauty. This is from my good friend in the Verde Valley, Joe. So thanks again for making this possible and donating this to me. Man, this is really beautiful and I just can't wait to work on it. So let's get started right on it, guys. So for this project, we're just going to be doing one side. I think I'm going to pick this side. I might do the other side off camera. But definitely this side, I do like this little area right here. It has some chalcedony, a little bit of crystal growing in there, and just these patterns are just absolutely beautiful. We are going to have a bit of a problem here with this material, and then this material right here, and then over here is not going to polish. It's very gritty. It's almost like a sandstone that got mixed into this agate, but we'll do our best to get this done. And if you've been watching any of my videos, I always give out that tip, a little Sharpie marker, or any kind of marker, and just start drawing some lines on your rock. Anytime you're working with a flat surface, this is so handy. It's going to save you a lot of guesswork, making sure it's completely flat. Sometimes you get add pressure in areas where it starts to put grooves on your rock. The reason for this is we're abrading this down, these black lines are going to go away. And as soon as all the black lines are gone, you're going to know we have a nice, beautiful, flat surface. Gotta make sure our water is flowing pretty good. Oh, that might be too much. It's always hard to get this on camera. There we go. For this step, you want a good amount of water, but not too much. All right. This is always the loudest step too, because we're using a 80 grit diamond disc right here. It's gonna knock off a lot of meat pretty quick. We'll just gently move it around. And we just got a little bit more to go. It's almost there. That center sure is being stubborn. We're going to move right here to the 180 grit disc now. And just like that, we're back in action. Make sure we got our water going. About number 3 on the setting. This thing sure is making a lot of noise. This machine's getting pretty old, guys. So for this step, we don't have any of those black lines to go by, but this is an important step. You just kind of want to take your time on this 180. It's going to really start to get the beginning stages of the polish, and it's going to knock out all those little pits and grooves that we don't want. Again, this area right here, that is not going to be polishable, and neither is that spot. There might be a little bit of hope for this little section. There are some really deep pittings, but we're not going to worry about those. So we'll just get right to it. just gently and keep moving it around as much as you can. And already you can tell this is a lot more quiet than the step before that. That's come along pretty well. Still see some grooves in here that we gotta knock out though. All right, this is looking pretty good. It's time to move on to the next step, which is gonna be this here brown disc. Make sure this is nice and tight. Get our water going here. Ooh, a little bit too much. But I do like, since this is a kind of a fabric pad, we want to make sure it's nice and wet. Let that run for just a second. I think I've got enough water in the reservoir to complete this step. And just really gently for this step, let it glide across this pad. All right, that is looking pretty good. You can already see we got some kind of small polish starting to form on this. Not in this area because that's the water, but this is dried out a little bit more. So I think we're ready to move on to the next step, which is going to be the blue disc now. So this rock is looking really beautiful right now. We've only got about 2 more steps. And the next one, of course, is going to be this beautiful blue disc right here. This is going to get it really nice and shiny. It's going to knock out all those little micro imperfections in here, and we'll be able to move on to the final step, which is going to be that aluminum oxide. This particular step, it's a really good idea to just take your time and just lightly let the rock glide along this disc. It's going to really make things really easy for you really quick. It shouldn't take more than a minute or 2 for this step. Water flow going. And let that pad get nice and wet. And again, for this, we're just going to let it lightly glide on this surface. And make sure you keep that rock moving around. That is looking pretty beautiful. Boy, this agate sure is absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness. Well, we're on the final step. I've already put the aluminum oxide pad on here. I don't need it preloaded. It's already got a little bit already ground into the fabric here, so don't need to really fuss over too much of that. I do have my squirt bottle, which is filled with distilled water. I don't want to use any water, hard water, because it contains calcium, and that's going to create little micro scratches in the shine. I'm not going to worry too much about that though, because some of my other pads have already been infected by calcium since I used hard water on them, and getting some of those scratches out, it's almost impossible with the condition of the pads I have on. But if you practice proper protocols and use just distilled water, some purified water, you won't run into the problems that I have. And what I'm going to do right here is just spritz a few little squirts on here and set that guy there. Just kind of take my rock and rub it on into the pad, just like so. Add a little bit more and hopefully not knock out the camera. There we go. All right, let's turn this thing on. Probably about a speed setting of 2. There we go. And just lightly let this glide. As the pad dries out, it's going to start to stick with a lot of friction and heat, and you're probably going to be done at that point. And just really lightly. Right at this point, I can start to feel it grip pretty well, so it's almost done. Oh, just look at that. That is just absolutely beautiful. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think on this one. Oh, this is just one absolutely beautiful agate, guys. Oh, this is going straight on my shelf. Well, I hope you really enjoyed watching how to polish up a flat surface on a lap grinder. If you did, please be sure to consider hitting that subscribe button and helping this channel grow. Joe, thanks so much for donating that rock. It was a pleasure to work on. All right, my friends, till next time.